Real life street stars, man. We got a legend in the building, man. Dirty glove bastard.
Spitty.
Spitty.
In the building, nigga.
In the building, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The man behind the brand. The
What's
man
good,
behind
man?
the brand. It's crazy, man, because I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm just giving y'all flowers, man. When we was on our rise, Real Life Street Stars, I used to look over. I said, man, what is that goddamn porch over there? They did that. Oh man.
Nah,
we
that's
got
what's up.
the creator in the building, man. So we finna go take it through there. We got a real legend in the building. From digital marketing, from Dirty Glove Bastard, from Source, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We gonna touch on it, man. First and foremost, for people that don't understand who we're dealing with, tell them a little bit about you.
For sure. I'm Jacory Spitty Robinson. I'm a real man first, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, I represent for the real. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Like, real P shit, you know what I mean? Like real Milwaukee, what I like to tell people is that, man, Milwaukee's a city with rich Black culture. And a lot of people don't know that, you know what I mean? I always get like, man, Black people in Milwaukee is, you know what I mean? But I always tell people like, man, we were celebrating Juneteenth before it was popular. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, bro, I'm from Milwaukee. Love hip hop, love the culture, you know what I mean? Always been a tech head, you know what I mean? And was able to, figure out like putting, my love for music, my love for tech, my love for writing and everything together to, be sitting here in front of y'all right now, you know what I mean, chopping it up about, this great platform that I created with my team and, some of the other things that I've done in the industry.
What made you put your face on camera?
So, interesting enough, like I prefer to not be on camera.
Right.
And I always used to pride myself in being, I would say, man, I love being the most important person in the room. That only the select know. And if you know, you know what I mean? But what got me into wanting to actually be in front of the camera was, the fact that I look at different leaders like in different fields, whether it's, tech or sports or whatever it may be. And the people that's creating are usually talking, you know what I mean? So I look at like cats like Mark Zuckerberg or, any of these guys. And I'm like, I know they don't really want to be talking, but they're leaders in, what they do. And you have to, speak out. You have to, share history and things like that. So I really want to, also it was like, I feel like moving around, navigating through the industry as long as I have, I don't find people that I feel like are on the same wavelength as me, or it's rare. You know what I mean? Like real is rare. And so I feel like I should step out and share my story and let folks know that you can be from a place that's maybe not as popular or, you can come from little no resources and have an idea. And if you stick to it and, get your team all in the right direction, you can make it happen. So I really want to just be able to inspire folks, by my story, because I've been blessed to be able to do a lot of great things. And, a lot of those things I manifested, from an early age. And, and I want people to know that that's possible. For real.
So, before you started being more visible, was it hard to wield your power when nobody knew your face?
Actually, no, it wasn't. And I think it's because of the relationships that I've held throughout the years. And, even though I'm not a person being in front of the camera, I'm a person that I always pull up. And I've always been that person throughout my whole career, no matter, when I was in the mill, working with different artists and doing street team or creating, like merch for different artists and all that, like, or, just wherever it is, like I've always, I always pull up and I've always like, my face card has always been strong. So no, fortunately, I haven't had that issue of being behind the scenes and maybe not being able to, wield my power. But I can't. But I do understand that stepping out in front can give you much greater power. Right. You know what I mean? Much greater reach and much greater influence. So that's also a reason why I'm stepping out and telling my story.
What made you want to step into the hip hop realm? What made you want to talk to these rappers? What made you want to talk to these rappers?
Huh. So interesting enough, my background and all right, so how can I say this? So, I mean, I started out in journalism. I always had like a love for writing, and that was always my thing. So, it's funny, man. I actually, one of the first platforms I ever wrote for was, I found these guys in Germany that had a website called gangsterism.com.
Gangsterism?
Yeah. And the site was strictly a deep, like down south hip hop website, like just focusing on Southern music. Me being from Milwaukee, which, we country up there, and then all my family from Memphis. And so I grew up just with a great love for, 3-6 Mafia and Playa Fly and, all that, and grew up on that. But then also, with my big brother and my cousin in my house in Milwaukee, they was B-boys. They was listening to Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J. Them cats had the cardboard on the floor and was breakdancing and all that, man. Shout out my cousin Mark, because he was the coldest with the breakdancing for real. But I just always loved, the culture and the music. And I knew from an early age that I wanted to be in it, but from another side, you know what I'm saying? Not being the person, like not being the rapper, not being the artist. So even I remember Wu-Tang had a concert in the Mill, and two of my partners rap. So we snuck into this spot called The Rave. Like folks in Milwaukee know The Rave nightclub, like that's the spot where all the hip hop shows come to. And I remember we snuck in, we got backstage, and I'm chopping it up with RZA and Papa Wu. And back then, like I was, trying to be a 5%er, and I'm kicking knowledge to them, Supreme, mathematics and all that. And then I got my boys like to rap for Papa Wu. And I just knew from there, like they was like, yo, like you should be our manager. And I was like, all right, I'll try, But I was just always like good, like with talking to people, approaching people and all that. And I just knew I wanted to use that to do something, And I was a good writer early. So, getting the Source magazines and all that. So I knew that was something that I, really wanted to do.
Now, we're going to get into your backstory. Sometimes we like to do the foreshadowing. We hit them with the punchline first and then start working our way backwards. So DGB, Dirty Glove Bastard.
Yes, sir.
We got to talk about this amazing platform that you helped build. Off the Porch, one of the most, when it comes to, hip hop culture, it's one of the most iconic shows, you know what I'm saying, that people tap into. How did you come up with that concept?
First of all, shout out to Zip, the founder of DGB. Shout out to my team, Hayes, Dre, Long Live Pooh. Pooh was a staple here in Dallas, and really held it down and had so much love for the Dallas scene, So I gotta shout out my team first. The way I came up with the concept for Off the Porch though was I was working with young Dolph, doing marketing for him and media, taking him on media runs. We took a trip to New York, and I remember we did like Hot New Hip Hop. We went to XXL, Fader, a bunch of the platforms. And the biggest consensus that we was getting was that like the writers just wasn't interested in what he was talking about and in his story, really. You know what I mean? And so like we came out of that run just feeling like we didn't really get nothing accomplished up there. So we was back in Atlanta, and we were in Decatur at the house I was living at. Shout out to Corey Mo from Houston, legendary producer. But we was at Mad Studios, Atlanta. And Al from Street Execs was like, Spitty, you used to write for The Source, and DGB is already a respectable brand. Why don't you start interviewing artists? And Dolph was like, bruh, Spitty, if you interview artists, bruh, like I think he was like, that'd be hard. And from there, I pulled the camera out and, set it up right there on the back porch and shot the first Off the Porch interview with Young Dolph.
So, that's Young Dolph to be your first guest, right? Is a lot of pressure. when you go in there and you do that interview, number one, now it's a super iconic interview. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. But when you go in that mindset and you go, okay, I got Young Dolph. Now I gotta go hard. So he kind of gave you the alley-oop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your second interview was then Bankroll.
Yeah. And shout out to Stack Moses, who shot that interview with me. And
shout out Stack Moses, legend.
Yeah, legend. You know what I mean? And yeah, so, you know, at the time I was working heavily with street execs. I mean, working with, you know, when I was at Def Jam, I had gotten really close with Titty Boy, 2 Chainz, you know, from doing the marketing for Player Circle and all that. And so then me and Tech got really tight, and, you know, the whole street execs team. And so from working with Titty Boy into that transition to 2 Chainz, it was just only natural for me to work with them to, you know, help build Dolph and his career, and then also, you know, Bankroll Fresh as well. So.
Yeah. Do you, you know, when you do these interviews, do you ever reflect? Because both of those guys are legends, but they're also gone.
Yeah.
And we deal with that too when you're interviewing a lot of artists, and then it's like you look up and then damn, we start to lose some of our legends. Does that ever hit you in a different way? It
definitely do. Especially, I mean, both of those deaths, I was supposed to be with those guys, or you know what I mean? Like I was so. I mean, well, specifically like Bankroll Fresh, I went out to LA, but I was supposed to be at the studio with him. I remember Fresh Jones, the producer, had hit me. We were DMing each other on Twitter, and I was supposed to like be at the studio with them. And I ended up leaving like a day early to go to LA to go link up with this chick. And I remember I was walking on Hollywood Boulevard, and then I like looked at my phone and just dropped it. Cause I saw 2 Chainz had posted the RIP post, and I was just dumbfounded. Cause I'm like, yo, like if I wouldn't have left, I would have been in the studio that day for sure. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, a lot of these situations, you know, kind of hit home because, you know, with some of these artists, because, you know, you build these relationships with them, and then when we're in this intimate setting and you're talking to them and having these conversations and they open up to you. And then for me, with both of those guys, I was doing their marketing, was with them like every day. We're building concepts. And I mean, we at each other's homes, you know what I mean? Like Bankroll Fresh, like I know his mom, and you know what I mean? His pops, like I know his, you know, his peoples, and close with all of them. So like just, you know, you build these relationships, and, you know, and yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when it happens. So yeah, definitely.
Who's the hardest artist to work with? Interviewing?
Yeah. I would probably say, Doughboy. Yeah.
The one that got that plug song, the song.
No. Wait.
That's
what? No. That's wait. What's my guy that's free bands from Ohio?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. So he was probably one of my most difficult interviews. Even though he was super cool, but he was just a little too turned. You know what I'm saying? That we couldn't even put it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Has any artist ever stood you up?
Man, what?
I'm asking you questions from our point of view.
Yeah, man.
You gotta get it.
Yeah, like that's almost a normal thing, bro. Like, it's, you know, that's something that is funny because like you almost just grow into like just not even taking it personal, or not even, it's just nothing. It's like, it's kind of normal and just come with the territory, you know what I mean?
No, but at some point you was like, these niggas got to start respecting my time. What point was it when, after what interview did you do that niggas had to start respecting your time?
Yeah,
like I'm done. One.
The first one. Well, yeah.
And because, I say that because too, I mean, shit, my relationship with Dolph, with Bank, you know what I mean? Like we had respect for each other, and timeliness is, you know what I mean? Like it's super important. And for me, like with those guys, it was, since I would be taking them on press runs and all that, like they just understood like the importance of it. So I don't know, bro. Like, is, you know what I mean? It depends on the day, bro.
They'll play with your time.
Nah, that's real. Come on now.
So,
especially because you got to pay your staff and everything. So it's like we at the office. I mean, I've had times where, bro, we at the office and we waiting on somebody. It might 2-3 hours might go by or something, but we still got to pay our staff. We still, you know what I mean? Shit, we still got to pay the bills, like, you know what I mean?
Right. So when your interviewer is not interesting, what are some things you do to try to make it interesting?
Man, you got to be quick on your feet, bro. Yeah. Like, for real. Like, that's one thing I learned with this. you got to be quick on your feet, and because like you had these cats that come in and it's so interesting too, because now the way that the game is with everything being so independent, and like artists aren't really trained, properly to even do this. So you might have a cat that just recorded a song on his phone. That shit then went viral, and now he's sitting on the porch, chopping it up. So he don't even know, don't know what's going on, barely even know how to complete a sentence sometimes, you know what I mean? And
have you ever stopped an interview midway?
Yeah. I had to do this shit. Nah, bro, we can't do this.
Yeah, like, you ever been like, hey, nah, bro, we ain't doing this right now.
Nah, I ain't had that, bro. Nah. But I'll tell you one of the craziest interviews. I didn't do it though. Hayes on my team did it, but what's my guy name? 607
Oh, 607.
You know what I mean? Like, now that dude is a character, you know what I mean? And I remember like him talking about like the Illuminati, and he sacrificed one of his kids, and then like one of the guys, like he got into an argument with one of the guys at an interview, and he walked off the set. Like,
oh yeah, wait, let's stay right there. So to explain that day, because were you asking the questions that day?
No. Hey, my partner Hayes was asking the questions.
Okay, were you there that day?
Yeah, I was there.
Right, so
I wasn't in the interview, but I met this dude and just felt his energy like in the building, and
So how did you feel about him when you first met?
I mean, bro was live. Like his energy was like on a whole nother level. Just I'm like, all right, like what this cat about to talk about? And Hayes told me like, yo, like this about to be one of them ones. You know what I mean?
So when it happened, like did they squash it after when it happened right then and there? Or was it?
No, it was definitely like awkwardness. Like, yeah.
I got a question for you, right? Let's say you do an interview with somebody, right? And they hit just crack or cocaine right mid-interview. Are you putting the interview out?
Yes. I mean, what you saying they just hit a line?
Right there.
Nah. But it's been some cats that's been on the porch where they done been so amped that I know that they done took something before. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it's some current interviews. Yeah, I ain't gonna. Nah, but man. Like some folks come in there and too, man. Like a lot of these cats, man, they do these drugs to like shit stop the anxiety or the, you know what I mean. So I've definitely had times where I've had folks come in there and be, damn near, you know what I mean, like moving and twitching and.
The jiggling.
Straight up. Get the pot locking their jaws and shit. Like.
You made me think of that interview I watched with Pee Wee Longway. So y'all Atlanta based, right?
Yeah.
So I know y'all get a lot of trappers. Like, do you ever like? I'm tired of interviewing it. Like, if this nigga says anything about the trap, I'm just gonna pull all my hair out. How do you like the same? It feel like you're interviewing the same person over and over again.
It do, bro. And then I can tell when niggas capping too. And so like, and I really come from like I'm not a street nigga, and I never try to portray that or put that out there. But I do really come from the trenches, and so. Like sometimes, like and even like through my career, I've worked with different artists and then moved around with them and stuff like that. And I'm like, what you saying in your raps don't really match with like where you didn't, you know what I mean? Like I'm from somewhere that's a little crazier than this, but hey, you know what I mean? So, I mean, but you know what? Like so many artists feel like they gotta portray, you know what I mean, like a certain type of image or whatever. And yeah, man, you get tired of it. And it's like, bruh, like if I hear another dude, talking about like, yeah, man, like it's crabs in the bucket, is right. You know what I'm saying? Just the same story. It's like, bro, we know it's crabs in the bucket everywhere where it's black folk. You know what I mean? Like we know that. Like, you know what I mean?
So you do what we do, right? As far as the interviews. What would you say is the biggest thing that you take away from this? Like, what should an artist, when they're coming to do an interview, how should they approach it? Because I think a lot of them don't understand it's entertainment also.
Yeah. I I mean, I think like some cats just, some cats take themselves too seriously, you know what I mean? And come in and you can even tell, and I think like, you guys been doing this long enough too, where like cats will come in and be like hella nervous, you know what I'm saying? But try to like portray like kind of a tough image to like not be vulnerable, I guess, if you want to say, or to not show that, you know what I mean, that they nervous. I think, man, when you come in for an interview, first, like, folks need to practice. You know what I mean? Like, artist development, media training, like, that's a missing art, you know what I'm saying, within the music business. Even artists, like, performing, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like artists aren't practicing. And so it's like, I give people this example. Before every Laker game, we see LeBron James going through the layup line. We see, you know what I'm saying, Kevin Durant going through the layup line, doing all the basics. Now, if these cats who's making all these millions and is, you know what I'm saying, looked at in this high regard, still got to do all the basics, then why don't we in our respective fields have to do all the basics? You know what I'm saying? Like, even for me on this side of it, asking the questions, like, I study other people who I admire. I look at y'all, watch y'all platform. You know what I'm saying? Look at people like Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Even people who I might not agree with their style, you know what I'm saying? Like a Vlad or somebody like that. I still peep it, you know what I'm saying? And check what they doing, you know what I mean? Like, cause you forever got to be a student of the game. So I feel like, man, a lot of artists just need to be better prepared because they come in there just kind of off the whim. And a lot of times, like, they'll leave and ain't really say shit in their interview.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so how do you tell a nigga no? Like, hey, bro, you're not ready to get on this platform.
You know, it's interesting because it's difficult because, I mean, on one end, it's like, if we just feel like you just don't match with like our niche and our vibe of what we doing, then it's no. But then in some cases, you also like find that like you might find like a hidden gem. You know what I'm saying? And somebody who you might have thought wasn't ready, but then they got like a crazy story or they have like an interesting way of storytelling or, you know what I'm saying, things like that. So, but I don't have a problem telling somebody no. You know what I mean?
Now, showing love and doing favors. Because we all done had the, hey, bro, Spitty, man, bro, I'm next up, bro. Just let me come on there. And we know that's never associated with any type of finance. But then they walk in there, they got a bunch of chains on and $100,000. How do you feel about that type of? Bruh,
I done definitely gave a cat a hookup, and he done came and had like a stack of money next to him. I'm like, bro, you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't have broke a nigga off. You couldn't have broke a nigga off. No, yeah, you couldn't slide me some, cuz. Like, god damn. You know what I mean? But, nah, I mean, also, you know what I learned too, though, bro, is so much of this is cap. Like, I've had artists come up there with their partners and shit, it'll be their partner's money. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know what I mean? Like, shit, somebody come with a bag and they giving everybody money. You know what I mean? And shit.
That's crazy. Viral moments. You know, the game has become very clip oriented. You know, and it's like everybody's trying to chase that viral moment. How do you subscribe to that, or do you feel just let it be organic? How do you work with that? So
I let it be organic, but I definitely, you know, go back and forth within myself sometimes, you know, because like we pride ourselves at DGB on not like being the clickbait, not being the rumor mill, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, I'll look at some of these other platforms and I'm looking at like, you know, some of their clips and I'm like, all right, like homie just put out a clip that got 300,000 views in 24 hours. I know what that's clocking on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so it's definitely times where, you know what I mean? Like I think about it. I want to, you know what I mean? I mean, bro, we just had Rollo on the platform and, you know, like, well, he got to talking about, you know, all the selective, you know, snitching and people, you know, not rocking with certain people. And I got a couple of calls, you know what I'm saying, after that interview from people who he was naming that I got close relationships with, like getting cussed out. Like, Spitty, we supposed to be fam. Like, how you letting somebody on your platform?
That's a good topic.
You know, because we always catch a lot of flack because we consider ourselves unbiased. You can come on here and talk about somebody. We ain't censoring nobody.
Yeah.
So like, how do you navigate when you just trying to do your job, but you got boys who think you're supposed to be protecting their image?
Yeah. That's a tough one, bro. And especially in my position where some of these guys I've worked with, you know, some of these guys, like I've helped them build their careers from the ground up. And so, you know, there's almost like a family dynamic. There's a, you know what I mean? So it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to navigate because on one end, we media, we got to tell these stories.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, without an interesting story, you nothing. You know what I mean? And I mean, so it's difficult. You know what I mean? It's definitely a difficult like way to navigate it. But I mean, for the most part, we just stay away from the bullshit and we like not really like into the rumor mill. So like I was just telling Rook, I went to New York on the same day that Cameron did his rant against Jim Jones.
Yeah.
And then I went in the studio with Jim Jones that same night when he was recording Jomo, which was his song basically responding to all of this, like, you're not from Harlem, you're from the Bronx, like all of that. He was addressing everything. So I'm in the studio till about 4 a.m, finally get the interview. And he told me, he was like, don't, you know, let's not talk about no bullshit. I was like, all right, cool. And that wasn't no problem for me because I already, you know what I mean? Like I was going to address it a little bit, but I wasn't going to just try to dive all the way in it. You know what I mean? Pause. But anyway, did the interview. And then like a couple of days later,
he goes and spills the beans.
Yeah.
And that shit, doesn't it hurt?
It do. But let me tell you something ill from that too, though. I saw an interview on another platform where somebody was trying to ask him questions. He was basically trying to bait him into the "Are you from the Bronx?"
Right.
stuff, and he caught on to it. And then he was like, "Bruh, you ain't even pay enough for this interview to be getting like my whole history lesson, my whole story." And when I seen that, I text bruh, and I was like, "Say, bruh, I just want to say thank you just for being solid and just being 100 with me." Cause he didn't charge me for no interview. You know what I mean? So to hear him snap on another interviewer and about to walk off saying, bro, you ain't even pay me enough. You know what I mean? And then again, that was through relationships because, you know, one of my good people, Chubby Baby, God rest his soul, legend in the game, Chubby Baby, like put me on in a major way. And when he was working with Future, brought me in to run all of Future's marketing and, you know, all of his media. And so, you know, like Jim Jones, based off of that relationship, showed me love like as if I was family. So, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I say like these relationships go a long way. And then two, the way that some of these relationships are cultivated, you know, like there's almost a responsibility for me just as being a real nigga to not allow somebody else to exploit somebody that I fuck with. So it definitely is a thin line with it, bro. You know what I mean?
Right. Going through your page, how come you ain't have Charleston White on your platform?
So again, like when it come to clickbait and when it come to all that, like we're not for that. And for me, like I rock with Charleston White on the tip of like the community organizing that he do. And he's a very knowledgeable brother and really be shedding some light on some stuff. Like if you can get past the crazy shit he's saying. But then the crazy shit he's saying is so polarizing. And to me, in some cases, so disrespectful that, you know what I mean? Like I deny, you know what I'm saying? Like doing an interview with him just because I didn't want that to be the basis of our interview. And I just don't want our platform to be in that light of, you know what I'm saying, of the bullshit. For real.
Now, I need you to keep it real with me because at one point, it looked like Atlanta banded together to ban him, right? Because we saw him do interviews, and then those interviews, 2-3 million came down. Big facts. 85 South. Funny Marco. Like, it just went to boom, 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 boom. After T.I. went on and said something about it. So it looked like a united front was had, which I respect. If anybody's going to have a united front, I'm with all that, right? Was that the case or
No.
Nope.
From what you just said, I could tell you like everybody you just named has like major sponsors. Big Facts, Revolt, Funny Marco. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean? Like all of these so I would be really sure that all those platforms had to take that down because of the sponsors and what his messaging might have, you know what I'm saying, how it might have, disrespected sponsors or whatever. It ain't no Atlanta ban against Charleston White. Cats ain't coming together. Nah, for sure. Nah.
Do you have any sponsors?
Yeah.
How hard or how difficult was it, or is it just like, because it seems like when you're building an urban platform, they're not available to you. Or they want to give you
commercials,
right? Blue check. I mean, we'll take them.
Yeah. I'm about to say because those is pretty much the sponsors that's paying all of our companies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for content, for real. It's gonna either be a tobacco brand, or like you said, like some dick pills, or you know what I mean, or prize picks or something.
Yeah. Do you think it's selling out to sell? Because some people look at it like y'all are selling bullshit to y'all people. Right, when you talking about selling dick pills and prize picks and stuff like that.
I mean, some people need dick pills. Like some people,
like the 24-year-old niggas. I'd be like, how y'all are doing this?
Bruh, because these cats is doing so many. Dog, these cats doing so many drugs.
Put these bitches through the mattress.
Hey man, cats don't drink water. You know what I'm saying? Like these niggas' cardiovascular situations is nil. You know what I'm saying? So nah, bro. Like it's some young niggas that need dick pills. Man, I mean, pause. I don't know of them. You know what I mean? But
I don't know of those guys.
You know what I mean? But you know,
DGB for 20% off.
That was funny.
Now, I gotta ask you about the Source, man, because you worked at the Source.
Yeah.
And there's some legendary moments that happen at the Source. Number one, 5 mics. Were you ever a participant in actually rating some of these albums?
So not like on an official scale, but I was so close with a bunch of the editors that, I mean, they would definitely, like, I would get called and ask like my opinion on different albums, and you know what I mean? Like, and then like I remember like for instance, Scarface, when he dropped the album on Def Jam. Mm-hmm. And my partner called me and was like, cause I'm like the biggest Scarface fan. Right. And so my partner was like, yo, like, I know you didn't listen to the Scarface album. Like, is it a 5 mic album? And I was like, yes, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. Did he get it? The Scarface album on Def Jam. Yeah. That definitely got 5 mics. Yeah.
Was there an album that didn't get it that you felt like should have got it?
I feel like there's this group called Little Brother from North Carolina.
Little Brother's Fire.
Yeah, and I feel like they first album to listening. I don't even know if it got a rating because they were just so early that I think like they had just at the time gotten into the magazine, like on the Unsigned Hype tip or whatever. And I think the Minstrel Show actually was an album that did receive mics, if I'm correct. But I feel like that album was an album that's like on that level of, you know what I mean, should have got one. I also feel, it's a couple, bro. I feel like Project Pat, Mr. Don't Play. That album was an album that only got like, I think 2 mics or something. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
That was an album that for sure should have got at 4.5, maybe 5 mics. You know what I'm saying? That was a legendary album.
Trap music. Oh yeah, you too young. Yeah. You gotta sit this one out.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Now, we do what we do. So I have to ask you this question.
Yeah. Was
some of that 5 mic shit payola? Was a nigga able to pay for the 5 mics?
That I don't know. I can't. That I don't know.
Benzino, look. Yeah. Spitty, I got it.
Hey, but this what I'll say though. I mean, it seems like pretty much like across the board that like, I mean, shit, you could almost pay for anything. You know what I mean? Like money talk, bullshit walk. You know what I mean?
1,000 miles.
You hear about, like the mafia back in the day, like having, you know what I mean, they say in baseball, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And you see these reps coming out in the NBA where they talking about like, yeah, I was calling those calls and like shaving points and all that. You know what I mean? Right. So, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't personally know about it, so I can't say.
So, well, now you got to also give me honest opinion. When Eminem was on Benzino ass, what was the morale like at Source?
The tension was palpable.
The tension was, like, it was just like, so I remember the editor that I worked for, like, he would go to New York to like close out the magazines and stuff. And he would just always tell me like, just how tense it was in there. And then I remember like, even when the magazine came out where they put the CD in there and, you know what I mean, where they caught Eminem saying the N-word and all that. And I mean, shit, they thought they was, you know, Benzino thought he was about, yeah, they thought they had him, thought they was going to end his career. You know what I'm saying? Man, what? Folks was like, well, maybe the black girl was a bitch. Like, hey, cats would defend Eminem so much that they were, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, come on, bro.
Do you feel like a Caucasian could be the greatest hip hop MC of all time?
I mean, no, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's. I mean, I don't even think it's. I don't even think that it's happened. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know a lot.
A lot of boys was trying to give it to Eminem, and I'd be like, no,
nah.
To me, your music has to be relatable. Your experiences. Now he's a phenomenal rapper.
Yeah,
and a wordsmith. But who's relating from our generation, our standpoint?
But then I'll say this too, though, bro. Like from our side of the culture, I mean, bro, Raz-Kaz, I feel like was, you know what I'm saying, a rapper that was like up there lyrically, you know what I'm saying, with Eminem. Like, is you know, so I hate to say it like this, you know what I mean, like how folks say, like, man, if bro was black,
right?
Like it would be over
with. Because we have an example, Royce the 5'9".
Exactly.
They literally 1A, 1B.
Yeah, nah, for real. That's that bad meets evil. Yeah, for sure.
Now you've been in a lot of studio sessions.
Oh wait.
So you know when you're in studio sessions, you see things you're not supposed to see. Is there anything that you've ever seen in a studio session that you can talk about that you wasn't probably supposed to be around to see?
Anything in the studio session that I was around, I once. Damn. I mean, shit. I can't put some of that shit out there.
Nah, I mean, it's cool. I just, you know, because
shit. I mean, yeah, nah,
bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, we done been in some sessions.
I done been in some shit. I done seen some shit. I done been around some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like but nah, I can't.
So, now another thing that happens when you in the studio, you know, sometimes the artists come in and they bring some ladies.
I mean,
have you ever caught the residual of said rapper? Can you talk about that?
Then call some oops.
Like a John Morant oop or?
Yeah, like definitely not like when D Wade threw the ball behind him to LeBron and then he, you know what I'm saying, running like this and Bron. Yeah, I didn't definitely. Yeah, I didn't definitely appreciate you, Pluto.
Are you catching the shit that Gorgeous Doll or whatever that girl's name is doing to Pluto right now? That girl that's just online every day on his ass. Have you seen this?
No, what happened?
So it's a girl that I guess he fucked with, and she's every day just harassing him, yo.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with a woman that was maybe just too young or too young-minded where you just like, damn, I fucked up, bro?
God, hell yeah. Nah, for sure. I mean, I done been on tour before. I mean, shit. I remember being on tour with Future. Would You Like a Tour? That was Future, Drake, Miguel. And I remember meeting the girl in Tampa. Actually, we met like on, it's funny. She slid in my DMs and then was like, yo, I'm being Tampa. We linked in Tampa, got her and her homegirls some passes to the show and all that. And then I remember the bus, like after the show, bus getting ready to leave to go to the other city. So I'm whapping her out like next to her car, like next to the bus.
Behind the bus.
Like,
With the DGB hat on.
DGB cock to the back, you know. But and then after that, we hopped on the bus, had to go to the next city, and then her and her partners followed the bus and like started following us like to different cities.
You put the wet down there. You can't come on. He's a
Nah. Hey.
Nah. He hit it with the. He said, "Nah, that was Wham Bam. Nah, that was Wham Bam. Thank you, man. I gotta get on this bus."
Hey, that's that. I'm in a rush. But I'm gonna tell you though, when you on tour, bro, like one thing it's a couple things you learn on tour. First of all, yo, game, like you learn that elevator pitch like that. You know what I mean? Because shit, you like, all right, I'm in this city. It might just be a couple of hours. You might meet somebody at the mall, you know what I mean? And or wherever it might, or just at the show or whatever. And bro, your elevator pitch gotta be on, man. You know what I mean? Cause shit, you could miss out real quick. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of rookies like miss out and you know what I mean? Then somebody else snatch up their chick or you know what I mean?
You was with Future, man, I would be like, give me one of them FBG chains. I'm finna hit the smile real quick.
Bruh, I had something even better than that, bruh. Between having the backstage badge and my camera. Like it was perfect because everybody wanted a video, everybody wanted a picture, so I'm every city collecting numbers, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so walking around an arena just free, you know what I'm saying? Right. Able to move around the back, the loading dock, coming through the VIP, like, yeah.
Now, one more thing I want to ask about being in the studio. Sometimes you get to see artists that are up and coming at their rawest form. Right. Who is somebody that's on right now that you seen early and you like they one of them ones?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh wow.
K-Dot.
You interview K-Dot?
Nah. So I worked at Warner Brothers, and I was doing marketing for J-Rock, and so this was in the beginning of TDE. And so actually J-Rock had this song called All My Life, and it featured Lil Wayne. But then they had done an alternate version that had K-Dot on it, and they had done that just in case they wasn't able to get Wayne cleared to shoot the music video. So I remember like we was at the video and like everybody was set like on just in case Wayne ain't show up. And then, you know what I mean? Like they had the alternate version like in the tuck. But yeah, K-Dot was an artist that I remember seeing, and it's ill because his manager, Dave Free, in those days when I was at Warner, I think he was still in college. And so like Top Dog, like the way he had his team, like he had his team like kind of infiltrate the building, you know what I mean? So it was like Punch would be over here on this side with like all the promo guys. He sent Dave Free or DJ Dave back then over to me because I'm in digital marketing, the new wave of everything that's going on. So he like, Dave, go over there, sit with Spitty every day, you know what I'm saying, and get some game and just make sure that he handling, you know, what we need to handle, you know, over here for that. And so Dave would bring K-Dot like to the office and would, you know what I mean, we would just sit and just building, just chopping up game on different things, me giving them my perspective on things. They would play music, you know, all of that. So yeah, that was definitely one where they was playing that music and I was like, yo, like, bro is out of here. You know what I'm saying? And that Section 80 came out and it was like, oh yeah, like, out of here.
So give me some insight on this Drake versus Kendrick thing, right? He's alleging that, you know, they're botting and they're doing all kind of stuff. And there's that alleged term, that red button that everybody says the label can push. Number one, is there a red button that the label can push?
Bruh. You know that when you have people at such high power, that it's buttons that can be pushed and things that can happen that, you know what I mean? You got to be on a certain tax bracket to even be in them conversations or even to, so yeah, yes, there are definitely buttons that can be pushed. And then also, when you look at just like the structure of the game and how these platforms like Spotify and like Vivo and all of that, like they're owned by the labels too. Like the labels have like, what do you call it? Not shares, but they have, you know what I mean? Like part ownership in, you know, they're vested in these platforms. So yes, of course. I mean, there is a button that can be pressed.
But with all these, okay, you're an independent platform. We're an independent platform. There's a million independent Black platforms that do numbers, right?
Yeah.
we're not part of the button, quote unquote.
Right.
So how does that work in this day and age where there's so many independent platforms that you need in order for you to get hot now?
Yeah.
How does that work now?
I mean, I think that like just on like that certain level, there are like still buttons that can be pressed that just basically moves mountains, you know what I'm saying, for folks. But the way that social media has evolved now, social media is actually more for the underdog nowadays than for the big conglomerate to a certain degree. When I say that, I mean like smaller influencers, smaller platforms are actually like being pushed into the algorithm more nowadays than ever. So, you know, I tell art, and it's so interesting because, you know, like I've been doing digital marketing. Like I'm a pioneer in the digital marketing game. Like I've been doing digital since 2006 when YouTube was first being introduced, and that was the first form of new media. Now we're in the second phase of new media where, you know, social media is at all-time high. Podcasts and, you know, I mean, this form of storytelling is, you know, super popular. And I think we also got to show love to Combat Jack. Yes, you know what I mean? God rest his soul. He was a pioneer of podcasting and doing it when, you know, people thought he was crazy, thought he was tripping. Like, oh, you got a fake radio show. You got it. You know what I mean? And he was like really like pioneering like, you know, what we're doing today and made it something that's respectable.
You knowing what you know about digital marketing, do you feel like YouTube and some of these other platforms suppress Black media? Because sometimes, you know, you'll be having a run and then all of a sudden you just see the numbers don't be hitting the same.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do. And I think that like the, what do they call it? When shadow banning. Yeah, like the shadow ban. Yeah, that's real.
That we don't know about.
Right. Because they controlling it. They feel like they have to, like, if it's moving way too fast, going too crazy, then they'll kind of slow it down, kind of, you know what I mean? Like they have like their own internal formula that they feel like everything should kind of be moving on. And yeah, so I definitely believe that. And we even seen, okay, when George Floyd died, there was a huge influx in advertising. I think all of us content creators, if you were doing something around that time, we all saw an influx like in our ad dollars and all of that. But then in like maybe the last 2 years, and then especially, you know, now like with, you know what I'm saying, the new administration, you know what I mean, coming in with Trump, you know what I mean, like eliminating DEI and all of that, we're seeing a lot of those advertising dollars start to dry up and really slow down. So yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. So do you think as far as, you know, Black media, the bottom's about to fall out of it? Do you think it's going to be able to sustain? I
think so, because our stories are the most compelling. Like there's nothing like Black culture, and everybody wants it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants it. Everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga. You know what I mean? Right. But everybody wants to be next to the story, and they're so intrigued by it. And two, I think that as long as we continue to even buy into some of this stuff, like some of the drama and, you know what I mean, things like that, I think there's kind of a never end. I think there's kind of a never end or no end with that, because people are always going to love drama. I don't know what day is going to happen where the mass people are going to be like, you know what? Like, fuck all this drama. Like, but that ain't happening, bro. Like, people want to know. And especially when it comes to celebrities, like, you want to know people's business. You want to, and also what's making the podcast even more popular is that you have, like, all right, so like traditional media is, you know, journalists that have potentially gone to college and studied journalism and, you know like these different writing styles and techniques and, you know, things like that. And even interview styles, things like that. But now journalists are your partner from up the street, you know what I'm saying? Or this cat that played in the NBA for 10 years, now he's being a journalist and telling his story and then sharing, you know what I mean, stories like with other people. And then they're able to connect more because they was, you know what I mean? They was in the trenches with them and everything. Yeah, you know. So I think that I don't think this is ending anytime soon. Like, it's only going up. And this is the perfect time, honestly, to be a content creator for real. This is the perfect time.
I asked that because I seen Lil Duval say, this might be the last year for you niggas to get money, so y'all better
It's looking grim out there.
But you know what, though? I think on that tip, he's right, because there needs to be more originality. I think that, you know, like, there's so many platforms where, like, there's no, I mean, all they do is just hit the rumor mill. They don't have a theme, or they don't have, you know what I'm saying? So I think that for those types of platforms, I kind of think that, like, time is, you know what I'm saying, like, short for them. But I think for platforms like your guys' platform, like Off the Porch, like, you know what I mean, Big Facts, like, you know what I mean? Even my guy Ray Daniels down there in Atlanta that's doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, like, all of these platforms, all of us, we have, you know, different niches. I mean, Boss Talk, who's, you know, based here, like, I love his platform and what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that sky's the limit with it for real. You know what I mean? But if you're not creative, if you're not original, then yeah, like, your time, you know, might be short unless you can keep the clickbait going. You know what I mean?
What's your thoughts on Vlad?
So Vlad, so it's interesting, man, because I have a couple of thoughts for real, because hey man, Vlad got our Twitter shut down, so fuck Vlad, you know what I'm saying? And Vlad was just bragging with I think DJ Academics about, like, they mentioned Dirty Glove, and then he was laughing and joking about, like, getting our Twitter shut down.
How did he do that? Let's go through that. How did he shut down?
mean, you know, being a part of the powers that be. You know what I mean?
Why target your Twitter?
Well, so because one of my business partners, Zip, the founder of DGB, if any of y'all follow Ziploc Mo, then you'll, you know, understand, like, he's unfiltered, very opinionated, you know what I mean? And so he expressed some opinions on Vlad, you know what I mean? And some disdain that he had for, like, something that he was posting or promoting or whatever. And basically from him saying that, Vlad got our Twitter shut down. But then he just recently verified it while he was joking with Academics about it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but then it's interesting. Like, a lot of people don't know Vlad as the DJ, and like truly the DJ. And like, when he was dropping mixtapes, and he actually dropped 2 of what I consider, like, some of the most legendary mixtapes that we done seen. And he had this series called Rap Phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And them mixtapes was crazy. And, like, so the first one was don't get me wrong in the order, but one of them was a Tupac mixtape, like, was splicing the beats, you know, jacking for beats type of situation, where he was putting classic Pac verses on top of, you know, some of our favorite, you know, beats. And then he did one for Biggie as well. And the Biggie Rap Phenomenon, like, that might be one of the greatest mixtapes, like, of all time, for real. Like, the way he put that together, I remember I was mad because I felt like he didn't give Pac the justice that I wish he would have. So that's why I said at first it's interesting when it comes to Vlad, because me being such a hip hop nerd and being, like, digging in the crates or whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I truly respected him in that regards for what he was doing on that end. And then when he came in interviewing folks and, you know, some of his takes, and I mean, I just saw something where he was breaking down to, like, somebody who ain't have nothing to do with, like, what was it? I think it was like the Kendrick Drake stuff. He was breaking down all the drama, and you could tell the person, like, just ain't even care. I think it was Michael Jai White, the actor. Yeah. And, like, you could just tell bruh didn't really even care about the story, but Vlad giving him all this drama and all that. And it's like, bruh. Yeah, you know what I mean? So.
Do you feel that he's a culture vulture?
Yeah.
But wait, okay. I got to play devil's advocate now. How can he be a culture vulture if you just said he put out 2 of the most classic mixtapes? Because, I mean, you can start out as something and then you can grow into something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for him, you know, like, I mean, clicks, views are number 1. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, I know that that's the goal for all of us because that's how we make money. You know what I mean? But
Is clickbait culture ruining our culture?
yeah, it is. Because it's taken away from the stories. It's taken away from like the real stories that people want to hear. If all we see is who said this about this person, or you know what I mean, like everybody want to have a Cat Williams from a Club Shay Shay moment. Right. You know what I mean? Like airing people out. And so it's like when we step into that and everybody just, you know, airing each other out for, you know, what they did, it's like now, you know, like, bruh, I don't even be comfortable talking on the phone to folks sometimes because like niggas will have you on speakerphone with people and get to talking some shit about something, and you know what I mean? Like it's like, man, people.
Now keep it a bean though. Would you have that moment if you knew that moment could retire you?
We talking 50 million views on Dirty Glove Bastard.
What kind of moment though? What you mean?
That Cat Williams moment. A life-changing moment. He changed, I don't whatever Shannon Sharp had, he changed his life.
Because it wasn't too, I mean, it was just him.
Yeah, I mean.
No, even if it's a crazy moment. JC comes in, he wants to talk about everybody. He's doing it, he's airing everybody out.
I mean, Jay-Z my favorite rapper, so yeah, come on, ho. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Now,
we have this moment all the time.
No, Jay-Z, the girl that's accusing Jay-Z of rape comes in.
Right.
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
That's some people would do it.
Nah. I ain't doing that. Because what's the story? Because what's the story besides that? You know what I'm saying?
What if she, but okay. We're not gonna put this, we're gonna say rapper B. Let's just say that she had an actual claim, like you did your due diligence, and you actually looked into it, and it was credible. It wasn't like she was coming on there to say some bullshit. It was like when who was it? Vlad interviewed the girl that Tupac quote unquote raped or whatever, like some shit like that. Like
so interesting enough, I actually just had a call the other night. I ain't gonna say with who, but somebody called me, tipping me off to a story that's going viral right now, and the person on the other end of that story wants to come on the platform and clear his name, share his side of the story. And basically, shit, I told him, nah, like I'm good, because that's just not the type of stories that we're trying to break.
We'll do it.
You say what?
So you give us the number, we'll do it.
Hey, straight up. Hey,
so he touched you where? Can you punch on his dog where he?
Hey, but then look, on the back end, we could work something out. Just let me get a little residual. You feel me?
Yeah,
and don't tell nobody else hook it up.
It's always hard because when you're looking at these certain stories, your morals have to come into play. And we always talk about right now we selling za, but next week we might be selling heroin. Right. Just because of the, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I think business is business, bro. It's not personal. For me.
See,
yeah.
Hold on. You say that. Now, this leads into my next question. Have you ever felt like you were in danger while doing the interview?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you do in those moments? Like,
I mean, not me in danger, like where I felt threatened, but then definitely had some YNs come in and everybody. Yeah, bro,
YNs,
like,
boy.
I'm talking.
You ever had to pull a YN to the side and like really talk like, bro, you got a church home? Like,
man, niggas don't want to hear that, bro.
Sometimes they do be want to hear that.
You know what though? Interesting enough, bro. I just interviewed Designer, and one of the most interesting parts of the interview that I picked up from him was he was talking about how he felt like his career sort of made the turn that it made because he didn't have real mentorship.
Right.
And, you know, so I was asking him like, bruh, do you feel like, you know, you going from 0 to 50 million, you know what I'm saying? Like that fast, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And then when you in that position, all right, like other people that ain't got bread don't feel like they can tell you, you know what I'm saying, what to do. And then people don't want to, you know, fuck up the bag or don't want to like miss out on being next to the bag. So folks won't even give them like advice or that type of game or whatever. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Do you feel like we're fucked up for asking like the questions that the viewers want to hear, even though the question could be fucked up? Like,
I don't think so, because I don't think that every platform should be the same. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I think that there's room for all of us to live in our, you know what I mean, different spaces. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when you interviewed Designer, did you ask him about the plane incident?
Yep, I asked him about the plane incident.
Okay.
He said a lot. He said that he was in a space where he was lost. A lot of drugs. A lot of, you know what I mean.
How one can you be, bro? Like,
Yeah. I definitely asked him about it though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No Jumper. What do you think about that platform?
No Jumper.
I'm trying to make it go viral, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
The clip culture is killing all black people.
Look,
Yeah,
bro.
nah. I mean,
We gotta make it entertaining, bro.
yeah, nah, for sure,
The
for
hard
sure.
questions.
Nah, for sure. No Jumper is interesting because, you know, I remember like going back and doing research. I say everything interesting, huh?
That's pretty with the shit on.
Yeah. But I remember like doing some research on their YouTube channel and seeing that it was like BMX biking and, you know what I mean? Like it was just like a bunch of white boys just skateboarding and on their bikes and stuff. And then next thing you know, they started, interviewing artists and
Underground.
Yeah, underground artists.
They was interviewing a lot of people that wasn't known, and that's why I was fucking with them.
Yeah, SoundCloud. And I liked them in the beginning.
Right.
Like when No Jumper first started, I really liked the platform.
Facts.
Because me being like I said, from the digging in the crates type of era, that type of vibe, like finding music, finding rare gems and all that, I liked it because they were finding these SoundCloud rappers, these different folks that, you know what I'm saying? Like that you just couldn't find, but that was dope. But then after a while, everything just became clickbait and just became just rumors and bullshit.
You know what I think might have changed the trajectory of No Jumper? I think black people. I think black people ruined this platform. They came in
like a virus.
Yeah.
No, I like AD though. I thought
Yeah. AD was dope. Yeah. I mean, they whole team that they had in there. I think like AD, King Trail, like all of them. Even Sharp, he was dope. You know what I'm saying? But just after a while, man, like it just again, like I think what happens is you get a taste of, you know what I'm saying, like of that bread or that, you know what I mean? And then it's like, man, fuck this. Like I'm going in.
I think that's why DDG ruined his relationship with Holly.
Yo.
He did the YouTube checks.
Yo, I mean, but them YouTube checks be so crazy, that shit.
No,
man, Whack 100, like I think is one of the biggest reasons why No Jumper is whack these days. And, yeah, but then it's like, my nigga, like, why you so concerned with everybody paperwork, man? And you know what I mean? Like that, I just seen something today. I just seen something today where they talking about, you know what I mean, where he on there going crazy and talking about paperwork. And
he said he showed Lil Boosie
BG paper. Yeah.
I mean, bro, if you didn't put me in jail, that's how I feel about it. If you didn't put me in jail, I don't really give a damn.
The niggas they got put up.
Nothing they got put in jail, be mad.
Let me ask y'all something.
Yeah, let's go.
How y'all feel about cats that do all these years? BG did like 13 years or something like that. Meech did shit, I don't know how many years,
15.
whatever. Yeah.
Nah, 30.
They're like 20?
Yeah, 30.
Golly. So how you feel about these people that do all this time and then they come home and then folks is putting that snitch tag on them? And if it is even true, like if you done did 13 years or 20 something years, like.
Yeah, bro, after, Terrence Gangsta Williams is one of our partners, and he found a way to get out of jail through telling on the dead. I thought that was the most genius thing ever. Right. Like, if I've been in jail 20 years and I can tell on somebody to get out, your ass is told on. I mean, I feel like that the statute of keeping it real should have a expiration date on it. Like,
nah, fuck that, bro. That don't go, bro.
I'm gonna keep it 100% with you, because in the streets, snitching is the only law you gotta abide by. a nigga you grew up with can kick in your door, shoot your baby, take your drugs, and they'll dap that nigga up in the street. Yo, that's bro. That's bro. But when you tell on that nigga, what? Why am I faithful telling on him? He's kicked in my door and shot my baby and took my drugs. This is bro.
We've been talking to Big Homie CC and Loose Cannon behind the scenes a lot, and I'm gonna use one of the sayings that Loose Cannon says. He always says, "You're moving the goalpost," and I think that's just what it is. Like, people want to say what real is. You know, oh, it's real not to snitch, but then a nigga go and cheat on his wife. Is that real? That's fake.
That's
you know what I'm saying? You just want to say what's real to you. What's your real?
Because
you know what I'm saying?
Because like at the end of the day, like loyalty, like you know what I mean, is something that of your character that like if you're not loyal like that, you ain't shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's so, because I look at folks like, and that's why my circle's small and why I don't really even fuck with that many people, bro. Because for real, like I feel like if you would cheat on your wife or if you would do some bullshit, like shit, what wouldn't you do to me? Type shit. You know what I'm saying?
I asked somebody, can you be loyal if you cheat on your wife? Can you be considered a loyal person if you cheat on your girl? And I was like, I don't think you can.
Nah.
That's the closest person to you.
Niggas try to throw that bro code shit in there and try to make it seem like, oh, nah, this is her, but like, nah, they're my bros. Nah, bro, because that same nigga for a chick would damn near, you know what I'm saying, cross you out. You feel me?
Right. I feel like I can kill you, but I can't snitch on you. It's wild.
Straight up.
Like, nigga, I'll take your life, but I ain't gonna snitch on you, nigga.
Tell on me.
So, like, all right, for instance, like when the Young Dolph situation happened, right? Everybody was advocating to snitch on the niggas that did it. So it's like it only applies when it's a celebrity. It's so weird.
Yeah, because I mean, shit, they found the car in the neighborhood and they got the shooting up that house and like, like it was a bunch of crazy shit going on. No. Now, but look, man, but people say the no snitching shit, but then when we look at it, damn, everybody
snitching. Everybody did.
Bruh.
It's part of what they say. Snitching is part of the game.
That's a code everywhere.
Is it?
Judges, doctors, in the white community. That's a code that just from the beginning of time in the Bible, if you just look in it, you're not supposed to tell shit.
What are you talking about? Riches get stitches? I mean, stitches get riches? That's what's happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, snitches get riches.
Yo, for real.
It's so fucked up now.
Yeah.
This shit crazy.
So hold on, what you saying about the code? What you say?
It's just a code in every community, in every establishment, every religion. It's like it's everywhere. You're not supposed to do that, like morally.
Yeah.
So if you seen a little boy getting raped, are you gonna
what?
I'm just saying. I'm going to the extreme.
I'm gonna kill the nigga that's raping the little boy's son.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna. I mean, I wouldn't let nobody harm a child, but it's like when you put it like this: if you doing something with somebody committing a crime, man, and y'all doing this shit together,
right?
Yeah, that's
you can't.
You should do that. You should.
If y'all commit, but
let these police do their job. They get paid for that shit, not us.
I think if you're doing some type of crime together and you snitch on that person, I think that's snitching. But if you're motherfucking what's the
like that's a citizen,
you're a citizen. You cannot be
man straight up.
Yeah, that's just fucked up.
I ain't gonna lie to you because I feel like if you're doing crime and if you operating it with a criminal mind state, especially like a drug dealer, you already selling drugs in your community. You already doing extra. Of course, that shit, everything go with it. You really shouldn't have no faith in nobody because the plus side is all the money you getting and all the jury you supposed to get and all the hoes you supposed to be. That's what you doing it for. But
it's part of a piece on the table. On the game. It's part of the
I mean, some people so low down though. Like you'll hear people say like, "Shit, I served my auntie. I served her." You know what I mean? And like. I think like folks with that type of mentality, like shit, like you just know not to trust them because they don't have no morals. They don't move by no kind of code. You know what I'm saying?
So explain this to me. Explain the YSL Atlanta thing. You're in Atlanta, right? It's a million people that snitch in that trial. How are y'all handling it? They just seem to integrate right back into society like it wasn't nothing.
I mean, we in a snitch society where like shit that almost give you the clout and put you out there. I mean, shit, we saw that with what was it, Tekashi 6ix9ine and what, you know what I mean?
Do y'all consider Gunna a snitch?
So
what's interesting?
oh man, I don't consider Gunna a snitch because I feel like Gunna is a citizen. Gunna don't rap about being tough. He ain't never rapped about sliding. Gunna.
I don't even, bro. He's not, bro. Bro's not none of that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Gunna is a citizen, bro. Like I think that he a cat that rap, and yeah, he a good rapping ass nigga, and he dressed. You know what I mean? He dressed. You know what I mean? Like, but that's I don't consider him that. It's funny because I was having arguments in the office with other members of DGB about that. And I remember being like, bruh, we not even gangster. Like, we're citizens, bruh. Like, why aren't you listening to the music, bruh? Like, I swear, we was having back and forth where cats was like, yo, I ain't even listening to the album. And I was like,
wait. Oh, I was gonna say, because on the diss song, he said that P snitched. He said you talking your big bro on rap. So if P's a snitch,
hold on. Hold on. No, even past that,
right?
Sometimes they say you can snitch.
Hold on. Even why?
They say
Right.
not me. I don't
Nah.
They should.
Yeah.
That's how it is nowadays.
Nah, you gotta. It's a code, man.
Why do you think law-abiding citizens are so concerned about it?
right.
I wouldn't tell it. I'm gonna tell on something. Cause I ain't nigga what?
I mean that because it's a part of the rumor mill. It's a part of the, you know what I mean? Like exposing folks is, you know what I mean? Like shit, that's the culture we in. Like it's because, and too, people go so hard on being real. So it's like, shit, let me expose the fake. You know what I'm saying? Let me expose this and show that this ain't real. I think so, because I think Whack 100 be doing is some police ass shit. So you know,
well, are there any different types of podcasts that you're interested in doing?
Any
like outside of the realm of hip hop? Like, is there any other like type of maybe? Well, relationships are overdone, but like maybe like different types of music.
Yeah, for sure. So mental health is something that I really want to tap into. That's something that I have like in my life have taken like a huge focus on, you know what I mean? And, you know, like going to therapy and, you know what I mean? Like doing a bunch of steps to, you know what I mean? Just work on myself and, you know what I mean? Like that's something that I've, you know, really tapped into. And, you know, like most recently, like I lost my mom's. And so that was something that like, you know what I mean, appreciate it, that like put me more in that realm because I even like within that, you know, I had people telling me like, go to grief counseling, do this, do that. And it took me probably about a year to even step into like actually doing that. But then when I did it, I was like, damn, you know how like hindsight is 20/20 or whatever. So it's like, when I started doing it, I was like, damn, I wish I would have actually done this before something that happened to me. You know what I mean? So that I could have unlocked like some of the shit, you know, from my past or whatever, or, you know what I mean?
So there was benefits from counseling because a lot of people, me one of them, it's like, I feel like I can look within myself and see like what's wrong internally and kind of start fixing that.
No, for sure. And I felt that same way too. And even still now, feel that way because I do a lot of like self-reflection and a lot of things where I'm able to like, even play devil's advocate, you know what I'm saying, with myself and look at things. And I'm a chess player. So like I'm always just looking and thinking about things like, you know what I mean, in a few different steps, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like having a counselor, having a therapist is dope because you have somebody that's like not connected to you, that's not gonna just tell you something just to appease you or just because they love you, you know what I mean? Like they'll listen to what you got to say and then give you like a real unbiased opinion, you know what I mean? And but you still have to find like somebody that's good and that match, you know what I mean? Like your personality and, you know what I mean? Cause I've heard of some people who have had like some bullshit therapists and, you know what I mean? Have gotten like some bad advice and, you know, all that. So I think even within that, you got to find somebody that like matches your vibe and what you even trying to get out of therapy, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Before we get out of here, man, again, you do digital marketing. You've one of the pioneers in the game. If you were a new artist or you have artists we have artists in the building, what are some strategies that they should take to further their career?
So I tell artists nowadays that not only should you look at yourself as an artist, but look at yourself as a content creator and act as so. You have to treat like every piece of content, like a piece of merch or like a capsule collection. And so it's like, all right, I got this song. How many pieces can I make from this? You know what I mean? So that you can, monetize your content, because that's like one of the biggest things, especially with so many artists being independent and moving in that realm, is that you have to move strategically to be able to build yourself up so that you can monetize. I think another thing is like, getting personal and then like developing like basically like how like IG has like the broadcast channel. Like now it's about like you can have a big mass following, but now you need like even smaller, more intimate type of following, you know what I mean? Like where you're feeding them like exclusive content and things like that. I mean, for us, it's platforms like Patreon and, stuff like that. I even saw Starlito just dropped a mixtape on his Patreon. You know what I mean? He's dropping content on there to where like if you've been rocking with him for a long time and you tapped in, then to go there, to get this where nobody else can actually get it. So I think for artists, like you have to create the experience where you give your fans the thought that they're in a place that they just can't be in like with the masses of people.
Let's say rapper A drops a video. It goes crazy. It's bubbling. It gets 2-3 million views. The album's doing good. He's doing this all independent. What should be his next move?
So drop a video, is doing millions, drop an album and it's going crazy?
Yeah.
I think that artist needs to like pinpoint like all of the markets that are streaming that song or streaming that video, and then need to tap in with those markets. That should be the next thing. You got all of these streams, all of these views and all that. Now you need to dissect that and start seeing like, okay, this amount of women versus men are tapped into what I'm doing. So let me do content and let me speak to, this certain audience, and then knowing like where they're at. All right, let me go tap in, whether it's making sure you go into that city to go do radio, go tap in with other artists that's there, influencers that's there, things like that. So, yeah.
Amen. Got any shout outs?
Yeah, man. Shout out DJ Dow Jones. Man, shout out my whole DGB team. What up, Zip? What up, Dre? What up, Hayes? Man, just shout out Milwaukee, 22nd and Townsend. We here. Like, yo, I was telling my people on 22nd and Townsend when I was a kid, I used to say, I'm gonna write for the Source magazine. I'm gonna work at Def Jam. I'm gonna live in LA. I'm gonna live in New York. And I've done every single thing that I ever said that I was gonna do.
Amen.
I also said I was gonna move my mama out the ghetto, and I was able to do that and give her an amazing life, you know what I'm saying, before she left this earth. So I just wanna like shout out God, you know what I'm saying, for, just allowing me to manifest and even understand that, that we can move mountains, you know what I'm saying? Like we really that powerful. So, man, shout out to yourself if you're watching this, and shout out to y'all because, I meant to do it in the beginning, but I want to give y'all props, for what you guys have built. Just is hand in hand, you know what I mean? How y'all say, you respect the porch and what we're doing and all of that. I respect so much what y'all doing and how y'all represent for the culture and how y'all here in Dallas, holding it down and killing it, man. So yeah, man, shout out to y'all. Shout out to God. Shout out to everybody watching this.
And then for anybody who, is it to get on the porch, do you have to be elected, or can you, how can they tap in with that if that's something that they desire to do? Yeah,
tap in, Dirty Glove Bastards with an S on all platforms. Hit me up at Spitty Will. Just tap in, you know what I mean? It's really like, we some real ones, and we really love the culture. We really love this music. And the whole point of DGB is for the underground and for us to put on for artists. When Zip first created DGB, it was for artists like Waka Flocka, who was dropping mixtapes with Slim Duncan. It was artists like Ray Cash, who, this was during the blog era when these types of artists, it just wasn't popular to be posting them. You know what I mean? So DGB, we for the underground. You know what I mean? Like we for the streets. You know what I mean? We are the streets. So, you know.
Hey man, you know, here I always looked at how I look at every platform that ain't our platform is competition. And I was like, man, I want to crush them niggas over there. But now after meeting you today, man, you're a real stand-up nigga, bro. And I wish nothing but success for you and everybody at the platform, brother. It is an honor to have sat with you. And here goes the best part about this. Spitty, you are a real life street star.
Yes, sir. Man, much love. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
It ain't real life. Just say real life street star.